Investigators say it wasn't fit for anyone to be living there, but they say they found 2 children locked inside a home with filthy conditions.
1 week ago today, a family of 4 was inside a trailer that completely blew over. Coming up, I'll let you know how they're doing.
How Lexington police say this car ended up going off a retaining wall in one of the city's busiest shopping areas.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. They went there to serve an arrest warrant, but instead, police say they found 2 children locked inside a small Powell County home with no air conditioning.
Police arrested the children's mother, Sarah Mullins, and Daryl Meadows. They say the children were alone at the time, and police say the home wasn't fit for anyone to be living there. Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation tonight. It's our top story at 11.
It was a disturbing sight when investigators say they found an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old inside a padlocked room on Torrey Ann Drive.
They had been locked in the room, and there was a note left in there from their mother basically stating that when they woke up to text her and just to let her know when she would come back and let them out of the room.
Their mother, Sarah Mullins, now faces charges of wanton endangerment and endangering the welfare of a minor. Daryl Meadows, who police say Mullins stayed there with, was also arrested. Trooper Veneman says the kids were living in filth, locked in a room of a camping trailer with no air conditioning and no running water.
Apparently there was some type of dog waste on the carpet there in the room, which the kids had been living in, as well as the only, I guess, light that they had in the room was a candle that we feel was used also to cover up the scent that was left from the dogs.
Trooper Veneman says they discovered during the investigation that this was not the first time this has happened. He says they believe it's been going on for about 6 weeks.
It's bad enough for an adult, any human being, to be living in a condition like that, but you know, when you look at the fact that there are minor children living in a residence like this and the door's locked, you know, obviously it's a place that they do not need to be.
Now they aren't. Trooper Veneman says Child Protective Services removed the kids from Mullins' care. In Powell County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Investigators say they also found signs that meth had been made in the home. The 2 are being held at the Powell County Detention Center. New tonight, investigators say they found a woman dead in a Knott County lake. Fish and Wildlife officials say her body was found around 7 tonight near the dam of Carr Creek Lake. Her name has not been released, but investigators say she was 36 years old. An autopsy has been scheduled. Investigators say at this point they believe the woman drowned.
1 week ago tonight, a tornado and straight-line winds ripped through parts of Fleming County. 4 people inside a home were injured when it was flipped and destroyed. Tonight, we've learned those people are now out of the hospital, and the community is trying to help them get back on their feet. Our Monique Blair has the story new at 11.
Something I don't want to go through again, I tell you.
Last Tuesday, the National Weather Service says a tornado and 100-mile-per-hour winds blew through Flemingsburg.
It's like 35 seconds, it's over with.
Richard Mitchell and his wife were watching the storm from inside their home, keeping an eye on Mitchell's auto repair garage and his in-laws' trailer home.
She seen the trailer start moving. She got behind, ducked down on the floor, and then she was going to go out the door, and I had to grab her because she was wanting to run down here, you know. Mitchell's
relatives, a family of 4, were all inside the trailer when it flipped and landed on top of his auto repair garage.
They would never answer me, and I finally made it in her, my garage was, and she was laying, my toolbox was laying on her.
All 4 people were taken to UK Hospital, where they have since been released. I spoke with them, but they didn't want to go on camera because they're still very much dealing with their injuries, which range from a broken back to a broken leg.
They took a pretty good ride, beat and bang, but I think it'll be all right.
The cleanup process is still very active out here 1 week after the storm blew through this area, completely overturning a trailer that sat out here, and volunteers are even still finding valuable items through all this debris, like this set of keys.
Everything's been going pretty good. I had a lot of help. I want to thank everybody for helping. I mean, I really appreciate it.
In Fleming County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And how about this? Mitchell says that someone has offered to rebuild his auto repair garage for free. And Hilltop Christian Church also held a special offering last weekend to raise money for the family.
Many of us got a break from the storms today, and it looks like Wednesday will feature some more great weather. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast. That sounds good.
Yeah, it really does. And this evening, very nice out there, Amber and Sam, across the entire area. We've got a cold front right on top of central and eastern Kentucky as of now. And look at the air coming in behind this. As that front works its way to the south, we've got a comfortable brand of air. We're looking at one of the ways we measure the amount of humidity into the atmosphere. You get low 60s and certainly 50s. That's very comfortable. Still, though, a little humid into parts of southern Kentucky, but look at the temperature difference as well. Those numbers dropping quickly now through the 60s across the northern parts of the Ohio Valley. Generally 70 to 75 most of central and eastern Kentucky. Those numbers, though, will continue to drop tonight. Hey, speaking of dropping, we're getting in on some rains falling from the sky still into far southern parts of Kentucky. Corbin down into the Barberville area of Knox County. All of that is just ahead of our cold front that continues to settle its way on toward the south. That Wednesday forecast looking a whole lot better and feeling better. Out the door in the morning, 62. Watch out for some fog. 75 for your lunchtime. Low 80s tomorrow afternoon. This should be the hottest part of the season. Guys, that same front, though, that goes to our south tomorrow tries to come back at us on Thursday. That means I'm tracking the increasing chance for rain just ahead.
Chris, thank you. New tonight, a Johnson County dispatcher is talking about some of the calls she received during last week's flooding.
Tasha Cook is a dispatcher with Paintsville Johnson County Emergency Management. She says the initial calls were not out of the ordinary, people reporting downed trees, for example. But soon, she says, people reported seeing homes floating away. And Cook says she took a call from the daughter of a man who ended up dying in the flood.
Underneath the truck, and it just swept him under. And they lost him after that. Didn't see him. That's the one that sticks out the most. That's the one I have nightmares about.
Dispatchers say they received more than 100 flood-related calls in the span of just a couple of hours. The country music duo Sunday Best and singer Tyler Childers will help flood victims with a concert tomorrow night. It begins at 7 o'clock at Johnson Central High School. While admission is free, organizers are asking for donations. All the money raised during the concert will stay in Johnson County.
If you drove through the Hamburg area of Lexington tonight, you may have noticed an unusual sight. Take a look. A car ended up going over a retaining wall, and the front of it landed on the ground below. This happened about 7 tonight outside a restaurant near the intersection of Man of War and Pleasant Ridge. Lexington police say a family had just gotten into the car to leave when the driver made a mistake.
Meant to put it in reverse and back out of a parking spot. She put it in drive by accident. Accelerated, and it went over the embankment and landed right where you see behind me.
Well, police say the woman and 2 children inside the car were not injured. They called in a tow truck company to move the car off the wall and back into the parking lot. A woman police say was hit by a car outside a Madison County grocery store has died. Witnesses say 89-year-old Christine Blakeman ended up being pinned between 2 vehicles after an SUV hit her in the parking lot of the Richmond Kroger yesterday. Police say she had just returned a shopping cart and was walking back to her car when the driver of the SUV backed into her. Blakeman died at UK Hospital a few hours later. Her neighbors say they often saw her outside her home.
But that little lady was either sweeping or on that carport or that front porch or working in the yard, trimming bushes or something. Very neat little lady.
The driver of the SUV talked to us off camera today. She says she believes she had a seizure just before hitting Blakeman and several more after being taken to the hospital. She also said she's sorry for what Blakeman's family is going through.
New tonight, 2 people facing charges after police say neighbors found a toddler alone in a parking lot. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office arrested 48-year-old Egbert Hensley and 43-year-old Mitzi Hensley. Police say that some people saw a 1-year-old alone outside apartments on Pine Grove Road. When police showed up, they say the child was inside one of the apartments. They say the child was supposed to be in the care of social services and not the Hensleys. The 2 have been charged with custodial interference. Police say the child is now back with social services. A man says he was robbed by someone posing as a police officer in Harrison County. It happened Sunday night on US 62 near Cynthiana. The Harrison County Sheriff's Office says the victim was pulled over by a black Charger that had red and blue lights on it. But the driver got out, pulled a gun on the victim, and stole his wallet. Police say the robber then told him to drive off. Police have not made any arrests. They say the robber was wearing a dark blue uniform.
New tonight, the state transportation cabinet thinks the recent heavy rain caused a sinkhole to open up on a busy Monticello street. Road crews say Main Street is now down to one lane near the Family Dollar. Flaggers are directing traffic until temporary traffic signals can be installed. Road crews are trying to figure out the best way to fill in the sinkhole and repair the road, but they're not sure how long it'll take. Tonight, a McCreary County woman is fighting for her life after police say she was injured by a hit-and-run driver over the weekend.
Police say the 20-year-old Kylie Ball was out of her car to check on some stray kittens in the middle of Beulah Heights Road when she was hit. Her mother says Ball suffered broken bones and internal injuries.
Kylie can't breathe. She is responding. She doesn't know what's happened to her. She has no recollection.
At last check, Ball was in critical condition at UK Hospital. Her family is offering a $5,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest in the case.
New tonight, a federal appeals court has thrown out some of the corruption convictions against former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Blagojevich is serving a 14-year prison sentence, but it's not clear if the ruling will reduce that sentence. Some of the charges stem from his attempt to trade President Obama's old U.S. Senate seat, but the appeals court ruled that deal was not necessarily illegal. The court ordered a new trial on 5 of the convictions.
State police have arrested a Madison County man on child sexual exploitation charges. Police say their electronic crime branch had been investigating 52-year-old John Lazaro. They say he had images of sexual exploitation involving young children. Police also charge him with menacing and evidence tampering. An inmate police say tried to escape from the Bell County Jail earlier this month is facing even more charges tonight. Jailers say they found Kenneth Williams with a toothbrush that had been whittled down into a weapon. They say he was trying to hide it from jail workers. He was already charged with robbery and escape. He now faces additional charges of promoting contraband and carrying a concealed deadly weapon. Earlier this month, police say Williams and another inmate attacked 2 jail workers in an attempt to escape.
A Lexington woman says her dog was randomly attacked by 2 other dogs while she was walking him. It happened along Pepper Hill Road near Shinaway. Grace Gorell says she was walking her dog Jay when 2 dogs came from a nearby home and started attacking Jay. She says she and the other people with her used umbrellas to fight off the dogs. She says the 2 dogs were not vicious breeds, and she's not sure what sparked the attack.
They look like, just nice, wholesome, all-American dogs that are well taken care of. So you just never would think it.
The good news is Gorell says Jay is expected to recover from his injuries. She says the owner of the dogs who attacked him has offered to pay for his vet bills. Gorell says she recommends that all dog owners carry something like a stick or umbrella with them when they walk their dogs in case something like this happens to them. Some farmers in Montgomery County say flocks of black vultures are killing their calves. They say the vultures often hover, dive, and attack cows in labor. Farmers say the birds go after the calf first and then the mother. One farmer told us the vultures killed 4 of his calves.
You figure a calf that's born, in the fall, he's going to bring you about anywhere from $1,000 to $1,400, and that's a big loss.
The vultures are protected under federal law, so farmers are now applying for permits that will allow them to shoot and kill the birds if they're threatening livestock. I think that was a first for many of us to hear this story today, right?
As if farmers don't have enough to deal with, especially right now with the weather way it's been.
Vultures now. Yeah.